how significant is Egypt's role in stabilizing the Gaza ceasefire, and what challenges does it face in ensuring its full implementation?
May peace be upon you. Greetings to you and to the viewers. The Egyptian role played in the Israeli-Arab conflict is pivotal since 1948, starting from the Nakba, and even when it practiced pressure on the Jewish. It was the most important state supporting such efforts. We went to 4 wars defending the Palestinian cause in 1948, 1965 and 73. And after the peace agreement with Israel, we went to negotiations and intensive efforts diplomatically and economically to solve the Palestinian cause. This is on the historical level, and since the beginning of the hostilities by Israel last October, Egypt has been the basic state supporting Gaza with humanitarian aid. It is the most state taking steps to stop the hostilities, which has been repetitive till the January 16th. These are the steps taken by Egypt. Very briefly, it is a pivotal role. Without Egypt, it is the essential neighboring country to Palestine, the main access to Gaza. In addition to the Israeli crossings, there are historical ties connecting the two peoples, the Gazans and the Egyptians, and related to the following days. We know that tomorrow the negotiations of the second phase will take place. The agreement will start on should have started on 16th of January
Sorry for cutting in, but reference to how Israel is expanding its military operations in the West Bank, how does this impact the prospects of maintaining the ceasefire in Gaza?
Most probably it will affect us because there is we think that Israel is agreeing to the ceasefire only to get the hostages from the Palestinian factions. It is also expanding or transferring the hostilities from Gaza to the West Bank to take control over the most area of lands, to expand the settlements, satisfying the far right in Israel, which sees the Gaza agreement the real serious danger here when the day after tomorrow Netanyahu meets with President Trump, they will listen, he will seek to get the US blessings to the full annexation of the West Bank, or at least the legitimacy of the settlements in the West Bank, which will take over the most area of the West Bank, or Israel will resort to more oppression and hostilities to push the settlers to take more area of the West Bank towards Jordan.
Now, sir, you've mentioned that we're approaching the second phase of the ceasefire agreement. How does the Daytoni exchange agreement affect ongoing negotiations between Israel, Hamas, and mediating parties like Egypt?
Egypt and Qatar are the main mediators alongside with the US. They are mediating in this cause and these negotiations. This is first. Once again, there is the Rafah crossings allowing the humanitarian aid access, and we have the committee based here in Egypt to solve all the arising problems that might hinder the implementation of the agreement, and consequently this is highly important. Egypt is trying to convince the US to pressure Israel to go on with the three phases of the ceasefire agreement as planned and move towards a peace process. And it depends on the US President Donald Trump and what he is planning, especially following the Jordanian and Egyptian rejection to the relocation of the Gazan population. We will witness tomorrow the negotiations in the White House that will take place for 2 days.
Now, reference to the anticipated meeting between Netanyahu and Trump, if you can expand more on the broader geopolitical consequences of this meeting, particularly regarding Iran and the regional security.
As you're aware, Trump will receive Netanyahu as the first foreign guest to Washington after the inauguration of Netanyahu. After the inauguration of Trump, he received a lot of officials, but before the inauguration and in an official capacity. Right now, he's sending a message that he's supporting Netanyahu, and the statements issued by Trump to relocate the Gaza population to Egypt and to Egypt and Jordan are highly serious, reflecting a complete bias by the US president, violating all international laws. So what will be said by Trump to Netanyahu? It is going to be very significant and important, and in my opinion, Trump will promise to relocate the Gaza population to Egypt, Jordan, or any place else, as the U.S.
Sir, sorry for cutting in, but in light of Netanyahu appointing a new chief of staff for the army, how has the Israeli public's reaction influenced government policies on negotiations and military actions as well?
There is a very important thing here. They are taking great attention in bombing the nuclear Iranian efforts. Netanyahu takes special attention in appointing the highest number of officials in military positions who support him directly. We know that the chief of staff and before him you have Gallant, the Minister of Defense, were in disagreement with Netanyahu regarding different issues and matters, in addition to the heads of intelligence bodies in Israel, whether Mossad or Shabak, and so on. Netanyahu wants the officials who support him personally, which will facilitate the implementation of his policies. We know that the political level is the one issuing orders to the military institutions in Israel, which caused a lot of problems during the past few months along the aggressions on the Gaza Strip. But after Gallant is gone and now the chief of staff, this means that the challenges before Netanyahu will be less.